Welcome back to another car episode of the Shenanigans of Coach Carla. Okay, today I'm going to talk about being an empath because I had a situation today with my son, my 24-year-old. And I'm a very emotional person, as we all know most empaths are. And it wasn't until today that I felt his pain. And I mean, literally, like, I was on the verge of tears. And I'm like, why do I feel like this? I'm okay. Why am I feeling so bad? He lost his best friend years ago. He had epilepsy. And he had a seizure in his sleep, and then he had a heart attack. He was only about, 18, I believe he was. 18 at the time. My son took it very, very hard. Very hard. In fact, I don't think he's fully recovered from it. He was just telling me, some things that I can definitely relate to, because I understand that when you lose somebody that you hold near and dear to your heart, when they die, a huge part of who you are dies. And he said it really, really clear today. Who I am, he was a big part of that. And he was like, he's like, the same way grandma was a part of, who you are today. And he's absolutely right. When my mom passed away, I couldn't bake. I stopped baking for years. I didn't want to bake. I didn't want to cook for anybody outside of my family. I completely shut that part of my life off. Like, whatever love I had for it, I shut it completely off, because I couldn't move on with something that meant it meant so much to the both of us. And when she was no longer here, I couldn't be a part of it. I didn't want any parts of me being a pastry chef. I just didn't. My son and I, we really haven't had a deep conversation since I really said, okay, I'm just going to accept this whole gift that I have and kind of just go with the flow. So it was really amazing to sit there, and I'm perfectly fine, mind you. I'm perfectly fine. I don't have any issues. I'm good. And we're having this conversation about his friend, and all of a sudden, I got this lump in my throat and this sadness in my heart, and I'm like, you must really, really still be holding on to a lot of pain. I says, because I'm feeling it. It's sitting right here in my solar plex. It hurt, because that's how strong his emotion was. And the best way for me to be able to get rid of that, let me tell you what I did, y'all. Let me tell you what I did. First, I told him what I was going through. I'm like, yo, I'm really feeling I'm feeling your pain. Like, I get it. You don't even have to speak on it, because I can feel it. And I was choking back tears. And I had to explain to him that this is just the way my body gets rid of other people's energy. And I'm sure a lot of empaths do the same thing. Whether a person is extremely happy or extremely sad, the outcome for me is always going to be the same. I'm always going to have that emotion, but it's going to manifest itself in tears. That's just how I am. Why? I don't know. I'm like, I am the biggest baby in the world. But once I recognized the fact that those were not my feelings, those were not my emotions, I wasn't sad and felt heartbroken and all that, I was like, yeah, that's you. It is what it is, and kind of left it at that. But I was so amazed, because the moment I acknowledged the feelings and knew that they weren't mine, and I put it kind of out there in the universe that the feelings weren't mine, the sadness kind of just dissipated. I mean, it took a minute, because I had to kind of break the energy. So what I did was I got up, I went out the room. It's something about having somebody else's energy with you and not taking it out of a room with you. If you feel like the emotions that you are having aren't yours, just walk out the room. Just say, okay, these aren't mine. Walk out the room, give yourself a minute, and then walk back in the room. Because 9 times out of 10, feelings are going to be gone. That energy is going to be gone. You're away from it. So it was just really, it was a nice moment to be able to share with my son. We don't get to talk too often, because he's grown. He doesn't really need me that much. So it's nice. It was nice. It was one of those types of conversations that I felt like I needed. all of this time, I'm really thinking that something was wrong with me. I'm thinking I am completely insane. Why am I always so sensitive? Why am I this? Why am I that? But then, there'll be other moments when I feel like mad cold-hearted, like a cold stone patch. So at times I was like, what is me and what's not me? I don't know what's me. We talk about PMSing all the time. Oh my God. But it wasn't PMSing. It was just me not being able to control the amount of energies that were hitting me at one time, because I didn't know how to do that. I didn't know how to do that. So I feel like as an empath and being able to really, really understand my abilities, they're getting better. The emotions are getting intense. Like, this thing is starting to really be real. Let's put it like that. The ability to be able to take on other people's emotional baggage, even for a short time, that's what I'm gonna call it. It's emotional baggage, because anytime you don't mean to do it, you give it to somebody else, and people don't even realize that they're doing it. I'm the type of person that I can't be around a lot of people. I can't. It sucks. It sucks, because too many emotions, and there are people out here that just don't have enough control over their own feelings, especially women. I tell people, when I was in the hospital, and my nurse, I can't remember her name, we just started talking, like, people just open up. She opened up to me about a lot of stuff going on in her life, and how sensitive she was to certain things. So I was telling her about myself and what I was going through, and I'm like, it's a possibility. I was like, why don't you just do yourself a favor and just look at the signs of people, possibly being an empath, because maybe you just happen to be that person. She comes back to me later on that day before her shift changed, and she was like, I spent the entire lunch looking at this. She was like, they have these different tests on there to tell you whether you're an empath or not. She was like, and I'm spot on. I'm like, of course, because all of us are empaths. We all have the ability to hone in on other people's energy, because this is how we become compassionate to another person's, setback or trauma, or, whatever experience that person is going through. We're supposed to have the ability to connect, because we're supposed to support each other, and a lot of people are just so disconnected, because that's just the way society has it. It's all about me. I'm not gonna help this person, I'm not gonna help that person, and not everybody lives like that. It's just more people live with the principle, I'm gonna do me and you do you, as opposed to the people that say, you know what, let me help you out, let me help you do this, or let me help you do that. So it's one of those things that I guess, it's not whether you are or you're not. Everybody has the ability. I feel like, some people are just, like me. I was born into it. I became an empath because my grandmother was an empath. And I believe I passed that down to my daughter. I go through 4 children before I got one who was like me. And, if you're interested in exploring the possibility of being an empath, if you are overly sensitive, if you think of something and it happens, if you can actually know what a person is thinking before they come in, that's all of us. That's just a little bit of, empathy. That's a little bit of what you already have within you. And it's up to you to decide whether you want to bring that out and polish it or leave it hidden. You are very sensitive, and, everything, you feel everything. Girl, guys or girls, it doesn't necessarily matter. Just look into it. It can't hurt, right? That's what I said. It can't hurt anybody. It's just information. You don't know, like, there's nothing wrong with educating yourself. We need more nice people out here in the world. So if you're not really sure if you possess empathic abilities, or the ability to be able to, reach people on a higher level, a higher plane, whatever you want to call it, there's always, you can pretty much make yourself do anything. I think it's just a matter of how to unlock certain keys to the brain. And I am perfectly okay with what I am able to do on my own without unlocking anything else. And if God wants me more, in tune with my gift, then by all means, let me know what you need me to do. I'm almost scared to put my hands on people sometimes, because I'll go in the store and I'll get Like the other day I was in the store and I walked by this woman and I just felt like she needed a hug so bad. And I'm like, I cannot throw my arms around this woman. This woman is going to think I am insane. She was an old white lady. You know, she might have thought I was trying to steal from her. I don't know. But it's getting stronger because that doesn't happen too often, that I would walk around, walk by a stranger and feel compelled to be touchy-feely, I guess I want to call it. That doesn't happen too often, but maybe it has, and I've just never really understood why I felt that way. But now I understand, because whenever I feel like that, it's not me, it's the other person. It's only happened to family members, where I'd walk by my daughter and I'd get this really strong pull to hug her for whatever reason. And when I say it's a pull, it's almost like you have no control over it. Like literally, like you are feeling like your arms are opening up and you're being drawn like this, but you gotta restrain yourself in public, which is what I do. I restrain myself. But yeah, it's kind of cool being an empath. Actually it's very cool. It has its ups and its downs, but for the most part, I am who I am. That's it for today's session. Just the shenanigans of my mindset and what I think about being an empath. If you guys have any questions, if you are not sure and you want to talk about it, hit me up. You already know what to do. Like, comment, share. Y'all know the drill. I'm trying to get my numbers up, so let's go, y'all. Let's go. This is Carla Alexander, aka Coach Carla, with It's Never Too Late.